Will the market go up or down? Should you lock in or float? Find out this and more with Master of the Markets, hosted by Barry Habib of MBS Highway. Brought to you by Planet Home Lending. Secured by private equity, Planet Home Lending might just be the largest wholesale lender you've never heard of. Our competitive pricing opens the door, but we know it's our knowledgeable and accessible account executives who will make Planet Home Lending your first and last look on every loan.
Welcome to another edition of Master of the Markets. I'm Barry Habib at MBS Highway. This is created exclusively for Mortgage News Network and brought to you by Planet Home Lending. Well, I've got to say last week was a pretty decent week for yields as we saw interest rates decline. The economic data didn't really push it. It was other events, concerns in Washington, D.C., which resulted in stock prices declining, and that money flooded into the safer haven of bonds. And both the Treasury yields declined, mortgage rates declined as an effect of mortgage bond prices improving and increasing. So the events of last week included a couple of things that I thought were pretty interesting. One, we had the Fed minutes, and the Fed minutes were really dovish. The Fed seems afraid of 2% inflation. Now, I'm sorry, afraid of not getting to 2% inflation. Why is the Fed so obsessed with this arbitrary number? I think it's more that they don't want deflation, and that is a bad thing, certainly, so they're figuring a 2% cushion helps. But what the Fed misses here is that technology has certainly kept inflation low. It's put a lid on inflation, it's put a lid on a lot of costs, and I don't think the Fed has taken that into consideration. It's a changing world out there, and the Fed really should start to think about those things rather than be obsessive. So they're a little bit fearful. They were very dovish in the tone of the minutes, and now it's not a rock solid thing that they're going to start quantitative tightening or unwinding their balance sheet in September. Maybe they announce it in September and probably punt and put it off for a couple of months after that. We'll see. Builder sentiment, very strong, and that brings us to the news of this week, which we're going to get housing data, both new and existing home sales. I anticipate the data to be good, just as it has been. I anticipate the housing market continues to be strong, just as it has been for the past 5 or 6 years. And I also anticipate the media to try everything they can to paint a negative picture, just as they incorrectly have for the past 5 years or so. So we're going to break that down for our subscribers. You should probably tune into that. We'll give you information to share with your clients, with your real estate agents, to help them combat the negative media. Now, where do interest rates go in all this? Interest rates, again, as I mentioned, had declined thanks to a move lower in stocks as money came out of stocks and went into bonds. Now, this week, in the absence of really heavy economic news, technical factors will be at play. And the most interesting one is the 10-year Treasury battling a level of 2.18%. We've talked to you about this before. Last Friday, we touched right on 2.18 and yields bounced higher as stock prices earlier in the week recovered. Now, stock prices have declined. Yields, as a result, improved because money came out of stocks, went into bonds. The increasing prices of bonds caused yields to drop. But where did they stop? Dead on 218. Happened on Thursday. See that battle taking place on Friday. What does this week hold for us? That 2.18 on the 10-year will tell us a lot. If yields at 2.18 are broken to the downside, you're probably going to see around 212, 213, 210 in that range where yields can go towards. That'll be a nice help for mortgage-backed securities and prices and rates. But if 218 holds, yields will likely start to be back on the move higher. And what does it tell us about the stock market? It tells us that if yields at 218 on the 10-year are broken, that means the stock market is showing additional weakness. Now, in the past, the stock market's really shrugged off, whether it's geopolitical or items that come out of D.C. or bad economic news. The stock market seems not to care, whistling past the graveyard and continuing this relentless march higher. But if we see 218 broken on the 10-year, that means the stock market's a little more concerned. You'll probably see a longer move lower in stocks and a nice move up in bonds. Now, the opposite will hold true. That's why 2.18 is such an important level, because if you see that level in the 10-year hold and you see yields start to rise, it's because stocks are once again going to shrug off any negative read that they get from either DC, geopolitical, or economically, and start another leg up towards recovery. So we'll watch this level really, really carefully. It'll be interesting to see that battle take place this week. You should join us on MBS Highway, just like so many people are enjoying it, really moving the needle and helping their business. Why shouldn't you? Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Feel the difference of what a decentralized operation makes. With account executives in your backyard and in your office, not hidden in a call center, we know what you and your borrower desires based on your market, and we'll be in your office helping you through every step of the way. Those are just a few of the differences our clients see every day with Planet Home Lending Wholesale.
This is Mortgage News Network.